Welcome back. It's finally here. I know some of you are going to be excited about this. We are kicking off our series where we are going to build an Excel add-in from start to finish using the new Office API framework. So, just a few things before we kick off. In the first two videos, maybe the first video, I would say, no coding. There's going to be no coding. This is literally going to be setting up everything. There are multiple installations we have to do. We will be using Visual Studio Code to write the code to build our add-in. We will also spend some time just high level, how is this all working? What is the whole purpose of this? We're not going to go into a ton of detail just because, oh, well, that was good. There's already a lot of information out there. However, I do want at least a little background, a little context as to why is this new framework out there? Why are we using it? Why are we forcing ourselves to move from VBA to this new JavaScript API that I know a lot of people, most people I talk to are more than happy to use it, but some are definitely not as excited as others. However, I think by the end of this series, you will find right away, once you do get past that initial learning curve of learning a new language, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised about what you can now do inside your Office applications, and more is constantly being added to it as time goes on. But again, first video, no coding, just background, getting everything set up. And then the second video, you will probably hate me because I will go line by line through the manifest file, which we will talk about, and getting that all set up. You're probably going to go, Alex, why in God's name are you doing this? Trust me, it's very easy to break things. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so in the world of add-ins, you really have two different types of add-ins. You have COM add-ins and you have Office add-ins. Now, what is the big difference between these two frameworks? Well, COM add-ins, these are the old ones. So these are ones that we could write with C#. You could also do it with VB.NET and others, but this was the old framework. And so on the old framework, you could run on the user's device. That means you installed it on a local machine. It would be installed on their system and it would run on that user system. And then it was only for Windows. So you wanted to do an add-in. I hate to tell it, if you're on Mac, you were pretty much SOL. You didn't have much opportunity to kind of use these add-ins. It was really more restricted for Windows. So that was obviously, a challenge, right? So you were leaving out this large market that potentially would love to use your add-in, but they couldn't because it really couldn't run outside the Windows framework. So that was something COM add-ins couldn't do. You could not run this on Mac. You could not run COM add-ins on Office Online. So the web applications were pretty much useless in the form of automation because you could not write an add-in that would work in the web application. So that meant the user always had to use the desktop application in order to use your add-in. That was okay for some users, but again, you can't always guarantee that the user is going to have that flexibility. Give and take the last 2 weeks at my work, we have been having to force people to use the Office Online version. And in some cases, they use the desktop version, but I can't always guarantee it. So this is where it would be really nice to have a framework where I can have an add-in that works both on the desktop application and on the web application. So that's one thing. And then a centralized deployment distribution. So one place to deploy your wonderful and add-in and distribute it. That is so crucial. I only have to put it in one location and then user can install it in that one location instead of having multiple places where users potentially could have to look in order to grab that add-in. There are definitely challenges to getting that. And also from a developer perspective, I don't have to distribute it on 9 different platforms. I just have one place I have to go. There it is. There's the user, and that's where they can download it. And so then there's this concept of app source. I feel like app source has changed names or something. I think it's not, it wasn't called Power App. Maybe it was. I can't remember, but it's changed names a little bit. I think the latest name is App Source. But basically, this is a place where you can distribute your add-ins. So this is a place where you can actually even charge your add-ins, and for business users especially, you can actually monetize add-ins that way. So that's going to be a very popular route for people where Microsoft will, at least for business users, if they install your add-in and you want to charge to use your add-in, you can basically charge it. So with COM add-ins, though, you couldn't do that. You couldn't deploy and you couldn't distribute, and it was a pain, really. So that's where Office add-ins are going to be coming in. That's where Office add-ins are trying to fix the original problems that were initially on the COM add-ins. And so what the Office add-ins are now going to be allowing for is now you can run it on Mac. You can run it in Office Online. You can now have this centralized deployment distribution. You can now distribute apps on this basically app source, which is like kind of like a app store if you want to think about it. So that's really why you're seeing this new framework is now that add-in can run across multiple operating systems. It can also run on the iPhone, which is crazy to think about. Well, not iPhone, iPad, right? So that's really why you should think about, learning this new framework, because now you're going to be able to reach a much larger audience than you were before. And on top of that, you're going to be able to reach a lot more different platforms than you did before. So naturally, if you have a good add-in that's very valuable to people and people are willing to pay for, you now just gained a huge market. Now, there are some challenges to that. So for example, I have to now go learn a new language, and that's going to be a little challenging in the beginning, but trust me, as time goes on, it'll become easier and you'll go, man, why didn't I want to learn this? It's so good. It's so nice. So at high level, that's really the difference between the COM add-ins, so the old framework using C#, VB.NET and those stuff, to the new framework, so the Office add-ins and stuff like that. There are different development tools for building Office add-ins. You have Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is basically a development tool for building applications that are across a wide range of languages, but it's definitely a heavier application. So these are usually more used for larger, more complex projects, just because there's kind of more tools and features that come along with it. And then we have Visual Studio Code. Now, this is basically the lightweight version of Visual Studio. So it's a very popular code editor. I mean, it's become very popular over the years. It's kind of ridiculous. I personally love Visual Studio Code. I used to use Visual Studio a lot, and then I moved to Visual Studio Code, and I have never touched Visual Studio since. Visual Studio Code is so nice. It's very lightweight, and there's actually an online version now. So you can actually use basically an online code editor that you can run across many different platforms and stuff like that. So that's really neat. We now have basically an IDE in the cloud, which I think is pretty cool. And then on top of that, you will be using the Yalman generator, at least I think that's how you say it, Yalman, to develop your Office add-ins. And then the Yalman generator is basically kind of like a template builder, right? So it starts you off with this nice little template that you can start with, gives you a starting point, gives you basically a minimal working add-in that you can start going by and customizing. The other thing I love about Visual Studio Code is I can edit my add-in in real time, and I can see those changes in Excel, in Word, whatever application I'm coding it for, real time. That is so powerful that I don't have to rerun things or anything like that. I can literally change it and I'll see it real time. Now, that doesn't mean the process is necessarily, I would say, bug-free, but I will walk through some common issues that I ran into when I was developing the add-ins that really were just kind of a pain. Okay, there are also different frameworks. So different frameworks are supported to develop Office add-ins. The big ones are going to be Angular, React, and Vue. These are basically just different frameworks for basically web development. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about what these frameworks and how they differ, just because there's actually a lot of information out there already. But really, at the end of the day, all I want you to know is there's different frameworks that you can use to develop your Office add-ins. Some, it really depends who you talk to. I hate to say it. It's one of those things. You will talk to some people and say, why in God's name would you ever use React? And then you're going to have some other people who are going to say, why in God's name would you ever use Angular? The reality is, I think for the most part, they all do a very good job. I think it just boils down to preference. I have some friends. I had like one friend. I have one friend who swears by Angular. He will never use anything else besides Angular. I have another one who loves React. And then I have another friend who hates React. So really all I want you to know is you do have options. You don't feel like you're stuck and you have to go down this one path. But you do need to kind of realize when it comes to who's been around longer, Angular has been around longer than React and then Vue. So at the end of the day, if you want the most, if you want the language that's been around the most, you're probably going to go Angular. React is very popular. Again, there's just kind of nice things that were new features that were added. But for the one that we're going to basically be doing, it's going to mainly be, just regular JavaScript and stuff like that. Okay, so now that we have kind of an idea of frameworks, how they different, what are the main components, right? So how do we think about a add-in in this like really high level? Well, at a core, at a bare minimum, a add-in can be thought of as a manifest file, which is written in XML, and then a web page, which is HTML. So the XML, the manifest file, is kind of like a contract, right? So this tells Office what the add-in does and the things that Office needs to do in order to install it. Not necessarily install it, but are there certain things that you have to do now in the application? Like, hey, do I need to change the ribbon bar? Do I need to add an icon? Do I need to do this task pane? So the manifest file really acts as kind of this template, this like kind of like this, I don't want to say cookbook because I think that's kind of misleading, but it's really this way of, it's telling Office, this is what you need to do when this person uses this add-in. So that's kind of like the contract. Then you have the HTML. Well, that's just the structure page, right? So at a core, my HTML is just, how does this add-in visually look, right? So I got to think about a web page now, and I know that a web page is basically HTML code, and the HTML code really defines the structure of it, right? So I have like this little header, and then I have this footer, and then I have this little container in the center. So the HTML is really defining the structure of your add-in, the physical visual structure, and the XML is the contract of saying like, hey, what do I have to do when I want to use this add-in, and what does Office have to do in order for my user to use my add-in? So at a core, you really need those two components to define an Office add-in. But you will find right away, you will have much more than just that. You will have JavaScript files. You will have multiple HTML files, each one defining a little different component. And then if you want to do custom functions, they have their own HTML and they have their own JavaScript files. But technically speaking, you don't need any of that in order to really run your Office add-in. At a core, you need your manifest file and you need your HTML file, and you have an Office add-in, albeit it's not going to really do a lot for you. It's going to be pretty much nothing. However, that's where you have to start out with. Again, just I would say the bare minimum, manifest, define the various settings, including how does your add-in integrate with your Office client. For example, the add-in's display name. What is the name of your add-in? What do I need to show the user when they use this add-in? Description, the ID, the version, the permission levels. With your add-in, you have to tell Office what type of permission do you need. Do you need to read that user's file? Do you need to write to that user's file? You need to tell Office what you're planning to do. If you don't tell it, it's not going to give you that permission. I hate to say it. You have to know the permission levels that you're going to need inside your Office add-in. So it's very important that you understand that manifest file. Unfortunately, it is also a little bit cryptic. It's you see a bunch of random tags and you're like, well, what does that mean? And that's why we're going to spend basically an entire video going line by line. What the heck does each one do? Okay, and then from there, we have our web page. So the most basic Office add-ins consist of a static HTML page that is displayed inside an Office application. So again, HTML page, think of a structured add-in. So visually, what do I see? But it's static, it's boring. most users are not going to really want to use it. To interact with Office clients and documents, you use the Office JS JavaScript APIs. So this is your way to make your add-in interactive. You use the API to select a range of cells, to edit those values in that range of cell, to go out there and make an API call and then set that value in the range of cells. I'm not technically doing that with the Office API, but the idea is that the JavaScript is really making that add-in interactive. It's making it do something. It's not just a static web page that nobody cares about. It's making it where they click a button and something is going to happen. That's where the JavaScript comes in. So with that being said, we are now going to, I think I'm going to cut off the video here. I know I didn't go too long, but I know what some people are going to do. They're going to skip because they're going to say, oh, Alex, I don't need to see the rest of it. So I'm going to make a second video where we pick up and we're going to start the install. So next video, we're going to install the applications necessary to get our add-in all together. And then from there, we will then move into working with the manifest files. At this point, I mean, if you have any questions, by all means, ask them. I'm sure most people probably don't at this point. I'm sure in the next video, that's where I'm going to start getting questions. But if you do have questions, by all means, feel free to ask them. Next video, we are going to start installing our applications. So we will see you in video number 2.